Hi, and welcome to Tene-In-Art, where the aim is to utilize art in a way that makes life even more wholesome. There are many things that we are all fascinated about and love to enjoy, and art can be one of those things. This is a two-part video that focuses on the creative process as well as affords a moment for reflection. You can reflect while making art, whether you're reflecting on the process of making the art, you're reflecting on perhaps whatever fueled the art that you intended to make, so perhaps a theme for your artwork, or you're reflecting on just any particular thing. So normally when we make art, we intend to do some beautiful sketches first. Most artists do this, whether it is you're a professional artist or you're an amateur, it doesn't matter. Many persons tend to do their sketches first, and that is welcome. The sketches are often just the ways in which you can flesh out your ideas. You do that on a separate paper, and then you get into making the actual artwork. Now, sketches can take the form of brainstorms or mind maps, among other things that persons can use to come up with whatever ideas they have in mind. But for this particular artwork that we are doing now, I guess I could just say there is no need for that. Let's go into mentioning what materials are being used in this particular work. So I have here a brand new sketchbook, markers, and I believe the brand is Hulu, pencils, pencil crayons, cartridge paper, glue. I have some tools so I'm mixing up the materials with the tools. As an art teacher, that's something that is, I guess, stressed on perhaps somewhat, since if you intend to be like a professional artist, you want to list the materials that you use, you don't want to list tools as well. So there's like a line that's blurred automatically as it relates to the two, but I think as a teacher you tend to want to separate them, but yeah, that's depends on who it is, perhaps, who may want to venture into doing that. So I'm using rulers and hole puncher as well, or I will be using those in this particular video too. Well, let's press on. So we start off with the sketches first, or just a very simple sketch outline of the particular design. And I guess I had a triptych in mind, or maybe not the term triptych, but three, just the numeral three. So I ended up starting off this design or this art piece with 3 circles, and just elaborating, I'm going to say elaborating on those 3 circles, or adding some details to those 3 circles. Yes, that is a better word to use. Going through this process, I guess I could talk about the process first and maybe drop in a few other things as I go along. So going through this process was not that, it was difficult, even though it's not like one of those artworks that we often well, not we, but many persons often like say that is art, and those are the works that look like something in particular. And I'm going to say that from the context of Jamaica, I know that more persons are probably, let me say the regular persons are probably more excited and say you're really artistic when they see you draw something that looks like something else. So for example, if you try to draw a tree outside and the drawing that you produce looks exactly like the tree outside or close to it, then for them, yeah, shot. But for other persons, and this is probably the minority, can recognize brilliance in art making even when you can't like draw something to look exactly like what it appears to look like in the real world. And there's a term for that, or there is a kind of like maybe a discussion or a concept of what is art. That particular question, what is art, and there are like two different philosophies associated with it. Some may say that art is true art, that is those things that you draw or you make that mimics or reflects something from reality. And then the other school of thought may very well disagree with that. And I guess that's how the idea of realism came to be versus other kinds of artwork. That's probably one of the reasons anyway. But yeah, that's something to talk about. But in this particular video, there is no such thing as realism. It's really, I guess I could say, maybe doodling or even imaginative drawing. I became interested in doing these kinds of things just out of fascination, perhaps, with someone else that I saw doing it on YouTube too. But his is remarkable. I'll put a link in the description, and also mention who I'm referring to that I actually really enjoy watching. He does a different kind of artwork than I do, but yes, it can still be regarded as doodling to some extent, but it's with a direction and it's imaginative. His is more imaginative than this one, but yes, I'll get there at some point. When I'm making art, it's all about what you feel like doing some of the times. When learning about art, it's about experience, and art is really about experience, experiencing a lot of things while you go through the process of creating whatever it is you're creating. Let's keep going. Let's mention the colors. The complementary colors at work, the orange and the blues, and the values of the lights. There is a lot of figuring out that happens in the process of making this artwork, and exploration too, to some extent. Maybe minor exploration in terms of mixing markers, and these markers are actually quite good in that they are able to mix and without destroying the surface that you're drawing with. Anyway, they're alcohol based, but yeah, so I have to say that I do like these markers, and they are, unlike some areas of this drawing that I had like some colors I could choose from, there were other areas that I had to make those colors. Problem solving tends to come in handy at times too. Like in this video, or when making this particular artwork, were a lot of problems that I experienced and had to figure out how to solve them. For example, I only had 2 shades of orange in the pack of markers, so I had to use my knowledge of pigments to come up with some other oranges by using orange and yellow and some pinks, not the red. The red was way too intense, as you can see with the 2 red dots or circles in the piece. The red is very intense and murky, so it's hard to get anything out of the red other than red, even when it's mixed with yellow, so I didn't want it to go in that direction. Pinks and orange that I had worked quite nicely to give me some different shades of orange, and that's what I used on this piece in some areas.